Good morning. We'll move on with the next topic, that is hepatitis. So what is hepatitis? Hepatitis, it is nothing but inflammation of the liver. Okay, hepatitis, it is nothing but inflammation of the liver, and there is various hepatitis will be there, like hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, hepatitis D, hepatitis E, and hepatitis G. Okay, so there are various hepatitis. Okay, there are basically various hepatitis. So that is hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, and G. So it has been caused by different viruses such as hepatitis A virus, hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, hepatitis D virus, hepatitis E virus, and hepatitis G virus. Other than that, there are other viruses which is also causes this hepatitis. It includes like Epstein-Barr virus, and also like yellow fever virus, cytomegalovirus, rubella virus. Okay, there are other viruses also which usually causes this hepatitis. So it includes Epstein-Barr virus, cytomegalovirus, yellow fever virus, as well as rubella virus. Okay, so there are different viruses which usually causes this hepatitis. So hepatitis, it is usually inflammation of the liver. So there are various hepatitis which is usually occurs in the individual. So that is usually includes such as hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, and G, and this is caused by different viruses such as hepatitis A virus, hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, hepatitis D virus, hepatitis E virus, and hepatitis G virus. And there are other viruses also which is usually causing this hepatitis. It includes like cytomegalovirus, Epstein-Barr virus, yellow fever virus, and then rubella virus. So these are the viruses which usually causes this hepatitis. So now we will see one by one the different hepatitis which is occurring or which is causing which is usually causes the individual. So in that, first is hepatitis A. So normally hepatitis A, it is usually which is caused by hepatitis A virus. Okay, hepatitis A, it is usually which is caused by hepatitis A virus, and it usually attacks the liver and causes inflammation. Okay, it usually attacks the liver and causes inflammation. So that is usually there. And this hepatitis A virus, it is usually found in the blood and stools. Okay, it is usually found in the blood and stools in an infected person. Okay, so this hepatitis A virus, okay, this hepatitis A virus, it is found in mostly in the stools and blood. Okay, it is mostly found in the stools and blood of an infected person. So this is usually present about 15 to 45 days. Okay, it will be present for about 15 to 45 days before the symptoms occurs. Okay, before the symptoms occurs, that is incubation period, it is about 15 to 45 days. Okay, the incubation period is about 15 to 45 days. So hepatitis A, it usually affects the liver and causes inflammation. It is usually caused by hepatitis A virus, and this virus, it is usually present in blood and stools of the infected person, and this will be present for about, that is incubation period is about 15 to 45 days, and this is usually before the symptoms could occur. So this disease is mainly spread through contaminated food. Okay, it is mainly spread through contaminated food. Okay, so this disease is spread mainly through contaminated food such as raw or uncooked seafood or shellfish. Okay, so this is mainly this disease mainly spread through contaminated food and water. Okay, it is mainly spread through contaminated food and water. So it is mainly, it includes, it is like uncooked food. Okay, mainly such as uncooked seafood or uncooked shellfish, as well as contaminated water. So that is usually there. So next is, that is usually about this, mainly transmitted through, it is also transmitted through when an infected person cooks the food and serves. Okay, when an infected person cooks the food and serves. Okay, this is also spread when an infected person cooks the food and serves. So that is usually about this. So if they are not washing their hands properly before cooking or after eating, this virus usually is transmitted. Okay, this virus is usually transmitted. So that is usually about this hepatitis A virus. So hepatitis A, it is caused by hepatitis A virus, and this virus, it is usually present in the blood and stools of an infected person. The incubation period, it is about 15 to 45 days, and this usually it spreads through uncontaminated water and food, and this is transmitted when the infected person cooks as well as serves if is not washing the hands properly. So that is usually there. So what are the risk factors for this hepatitis A virus? The hepatitis A. Okay, so what are the risk factors for this hepatitis A? The risk factor for this hepatitis A, it is that is, first thing is that when an infected person cooks the food, poor sanitation and hygiene. Okay, poor sanitation and hygiene, having anal or oral sex with a person who is infected, okay, having anal or oral sex with a person who is infected, and then not washing the hands after changing the diaper, and drinking contaminated water, eating uncooked food, which I have told you, eating uncooked raw food, okay, eating uncooked food or raw food, and then blood transfusion from an infected person, okay, blood transfusion from an infected person. So that is usually the risk factors for this hepatitis A. So it is mainly includes uncooked food, contaminated water, blood transfusion, and not washing the hands after you changing the diaper, having oral or anal sex with an infected person, poor sanitation and hygiene, or eating food which has been prepared by infected person. So these are the risk factors for the development of for this hepatitis A. So symptoms. So symptoms, it is usually seen that the majority of the cases you can see they show flu-like symptoms. Okay, majority of the cases they show the symptoms, that is flu-like symptoms, and the symptoms develop within 2 to 7 weeks. Okay, the symptoms develop 2 to 7 weeks. Okay, within 2 to 7 weeks. So that is usually about this, and it is in the beginning it is mild and it takes several months to develop the symptoms severely. Okay, severity of the symptoms, it takes few months to in the adult. So that is that. So the main symptoms, that is I have told you, like flu-like symptoms will be there, like fever, chills, headache, and weakness will be there. Okay, in the beginning they can see that they will be having flu-like symptoms such as weakness, headache, fever, and chills. See other symptoms, it might be like fatigue, anorexia, stomach cramp, nausea, vomiting, clay-like stools, as well as diarrhea, jaundice. So the symptoms usually it takes about 2 to 7 weeks to develop. In the beginning it will be mild, and after that it takes few months to become severe in the adults. And in the beginning it shows like flu-like symptoms such as fever, headache, chills, and weakness. And other symptoms it might include like fatigue, stomach cramps, anorexia, nausea, vomiting, clay-colored stools, diarrhea, as well as jaundice. So this is usually about this symptoms of this hepatitis A. So what are the diagnostic evaluation that we have to do? So we have to go with physical examination. Okay, we have to go with physical examination. The doctor will examine for the tenderness, like tender liver or enlarged liver. Okay, the doctor might discover tender liver or enlarged liver, and then blood test will be done to know about the hepatitis A virus. So blood test will be done. Then there will be liver function test will be done, where liver enzymes will be elevated. Okay, liver enzymes will be elevated. So liver function test will be done, and then ultrasound of the abdomen, CT scan of the abdomen, MRI scan of the abdomen. So these are the diagnostic tests that we will go. So mainly they go with physical examination, blood test, liver function test, MRI, CT scan, and ultrasound of the abdomen. So next is management. So management, there is no specific treatment for this hepatitis A. Okay, there is no specific treatment for this hepatitis A. So therefore rest is recommended. Okay, the first thing is that rest is recommended. So the people with this hepatitis should be given instructed that they have to avoid alcohol completely, or they have to avoid the substances which is toxic to the liver. Okay, they have to avoid the substances which is toxic to the liver. Fatty foods should be avoided, and then personal hygiene should be maintained. We have to wash our hands thoroughly before going to toilet, after using toilets, as well as before cooking and after cooking, or before eating as well as after eating. We have to wash our hands thoroughly, and then and people who are infected should not handle the food, should not go for unprotected sex with the, so that it is usually the thing. So normally in this hepatitis A virus, hepatitis A, there is no specific treatment, just we can go give them some certain health education. So this rest is recommended. Then they have to avoid alcohol and the food which is causing toxic to the liver, and then fatty food should be avoided. Then they have to maintain personal hygiene. They have to wash their hands thoroughly, and also people should, like infected people should avoid handling food as well as unprotected sex. So this is usually about this hepatitis A, which is usually caused by hepatitis A virus. This is present in the blood and stools. So next is hepatitis B. So hepatitis B, it is also called as serum hepatitis. Okay, it is also called as serum hepatitis. So this is usually serious form of liver inflammation. Okay, this is hepatitis B. It is serious form of liver inflammation. So there is hepatitis B. It is also called as serum hepatitis, and this is the serious and this is usually the serious form, or it is usually the serious form of liver inflammation, and this is caused by hepatitis B virus. Okay, it is usually caused by hepatitis B virus. So virus, it is usually capable of causing lifelong infection. Okay, virus is capable of causing lifelong infection like liver cirrhosis, liver failure, liver cancer and death. So the virus is capable of causing lifelong infection. Okay, the virus is capable of causing lifelong infection such as liver cirrhosis, liver cancer, liver failure as well as death. So hepatitis B, it is also called as serum hepatitis. This is usually serious form of liver inflammation, and it is usually it is caused by hepatitis B virus, and this is usually capable of causing lifelong infection like liver cirrhosis, liver failure, liver cancer and death. What are the causes? Mainly it is hepatitis B virus. So the causes, it is mainly hepatitis B virus. Okay, the main cause, it is mainly hepatitis B virus, and the virus spreads from blood of an infected person to the other person. Okay, it mainly spreads through blood. Okay, it mainly spreads through blood. So it is usually there, and this virus can be present outside the body at least for 7 days. Okay, this virus can be present outside the body at least for 7 days, and it is capable of causing the infection. So mainly this virus, hepatitis B, it is caused by hepatitis B virus, and it is usually present, it is spreads through blood, and this virus can be present alive outside the body for 7 days and can cause the infection. And in mild cases, in this, it is usually like in saliva, milk, that is breast milk, vaginal secretion, semen, this all it is present in less concentration. So that is usually about this causes of hepatitis B. And the transmission, it is mainly parenteral and sexual route. Okay, the route of transmission, it is mainly sexual as well as parenteral. That is usually seen, that is intravenous drug users or homosexual men. So that is usually seen. So that is there, and it is not caused, or it is not transmitted through casual contact. It is not transmitted through casual contact like hugging, sharing, eating together, eating in the same utensils. This is not caused by that. So that is usually about this hepatitis B virus. So next is clinical features. So clinical features, it is seen that jaundice will be there, abdominal discomfort will be there, loss of appetite. Okay, jaundice, abdominal discomfort, loss of appetite, nausea with or without vomiting. Okay, nausea with or without vomiting, dark yellow urine. Okay, dark yellow urine. And then there will be clay colored stools, lethargy, and also joint pain will be there, and also joint pain will be there. So that is usually there. So normally the symptoms, it is usually seen, it is that jaundice, abdominal discomfort, fatigue, clay colored stools, diarrhea, nausea with or without vomiting, dark yellow urine, lethargy and joint pain will be present. These are symptoms, it is usually associated with hepatitis B. So diagnostic, mainly we go with liver function test. Okay, mainly we go with liver function test, and also they will be giving like prothrombin level will be checked. Okay, prothrombin level will be checked. So other than that, the other diagnosis that we go, it is mainly antibody test should be done. That is HBsAg. Okay, an antibody to HBsAg should be done. If you see that it is positive, okay, if you see that a positive result, it means that the person has infection in the past. Okay, the person had infection in the past. So it is antibody to HBsAg. Okay, antibody to HBsAg. So if there is positive result, it means that the person had infection in the past. Okay, the person had infection in the past. Like antibody test has to be done. So normally we go with liver function test, prothrombin level should be checked, and then antibody test has to be done. So that is usually the diagnostic. Management. So normally if it is acute hepatitis B, okay, if it is acute hepatitis B, so there is no treatment, just careful monitoring should be done. Like bed rest should be done, plenty of fluids should be, like we have to ask them to drink plenty of fluids and eat healthy foods. So if it is acute hepatitis, there is no treatment required. So that we have to tell them to have blood rest, complete bed rest, healthy food should be taken and drink plenty of waters. And next, in case of chronic hepatitis, okay, in case of chronic hepatitis, we have to ask them to avoid or completely stop alcohol. Okay, we have to tell them to completely stop alcohol. So that is usually there, and they will usually give certain medication, that is over the counter medication such as acetaminophen, aspirin or ibuprofen will be given. Okay, acetaminophen, aspirin or ibuprofen will be given. So that is like over the counter medications will be given, such as acetaminophen, ibuprofen or aspirin will be given. So that is usually there. And then we go with giving them treatment like in case of chronic hepatitis, such as lamivudine and adifovir. Okay, we give them lamivudine and adifovir will be given to the patients with chronic hepatitis B. So that is usually done. And in rare cases you can see that they might also develop liver failure. So in that case liver transplantation will be done. Okay, in that case liver transplantation will be done. So management, there is no treatment for acute hepatitis, just bed rest, to take plenty of fluids and eat healthy food. And in case of chronic hepatitis, we go with giving them like over the counter drugs such as acetaminophen, aspirin or ibuprofen will be given. And then patients with this chronic hepatitis will be treated with lamivudine and adifovir. So this is usually given for them. And then in case if they have developed like liver failure, then we go with giving them then we go with liver transplantation. This is not seen in all the patients, but in few patients we can see that liver failure will be there. So in that case we have to go with liver transplantation has to be done. So this is about this hepatitis B. So hepatitis B, it is usually caused by hepatitis B virus, and this is usually, it is transmitted through parenteral or this one, what is that, sexual route, and this is usually seen in intravenous drug users. Okay, this case seen in that intravenous drug users, and this spreads through blood. So this is about this hepatitis B. So next is hepatitis C. So hepatitis C, it is the inflammation of the liver which is caused by hepatitis C virus. Okay, it is the inflammation of the liver which is caused by hepatitis C virus. So this was first identified in the year 1989. So this hepatitis C was first identified in the year 1989. So this hepatitis C virus, it is transmitted by direct contact with the blood of an infected person. So hepatitis C, it is inflammation of the liver which is caused by hepatitis C virus, and this is usually spreads through direct contact with the blood of an infected person. So this was identified in the year 1989. So cause, it is mainly hepatitis C virus. So it is usually about this thing. So cause, it is mainly hepatitis C virus. So but there are certain risk factors. Okay, there are certain risk factors like the person who are prone to develop this hepatitis C virus. Hepatitis C is when they are having long-term kidney dialysis. Okay, when they are in long-term kidney dialysis, and then people who are regularly at work with like lab technicians. Okay, lab technicians who will be always in contact with the blood. So that type of people. Next is unprotected sexual contact with an infected person. Okay, unprotected sexual contact with an infected person. Next is usually like injecting street drugs. Okay, injecting street drugs or sharing the same needle from an infected person. Okay, sharing the same needle from an infected person. So that is usually that. And then tattoo. Okay, when they are receiving a tattoo. Okay, when they are receiving a tattoo with the contaminated instruments. Okay, when they are receiving a tattoo with the contaminated instruments. And then born to hepatitis C infected mother. Okay, born to hepatitis C infected mother. So it is mainly hepatitis C. Hepatitis C, it is caused by hepatitis C virus, and this was identified in the year 1989. So hepatitis C, like the person will be spreads through when we are coming direct contact with the blood of an infected person. So causes, it is mainly hepatitis C virus, but there are certain risk factors. Okay, the person who are prone to develop this hepatitis C, it is mainly person who are having long-term dialysis or lab technicians, like there will be in contact with the blood. Then in case of unprotected sex with an infected person, using street drugs or sharing the same needle from an infected person, tattooing with the contaminated articles, and then when a person is born to a hepatitis C infected mother. So next it is about this causes and risk factors. So next is symptoms. So what are the symptoms that we can see? So in this hepatitis C, it damages the liver. Okay, it damages the liver. The symptoms usually will not appear like about 10 to 20 years. Okay, the symptoms will not be seen for about 10 to 20 years. And then due to this, what happens? The liver starts completely damaging. The liver starts completely damaging. So that is usually so the symptoms that could be appearing, the symptoms that can be seen, it might be like they'll be having abdominal pain, abdominal swelling, that is ascites will be there, that is abdominal pain in the right abdomen, upper abdomen can be seen. Then bleeding from esophagus or stomach. Okay, they'll be having bleeding from esophagus or stomach, dark urine, fatigue, muscle and joint pain. Okay, muscle and joint pain, fever will be there, itching will be there, jaundice, loss of appetite will be there, nausea or vomiting. So symptoms, it is usually seen that they will be completely damaging the liver, as because the symptoms will not be seen for about 10 to 20 years. But the symptoms that can be seen, it is like ascites will be there, pain will be there, nausea or vomiting, clay colored stools, dark urine, fatigue, jaundice, muscle pain will be there, joint pain will be there, bleeding from the esophagus and stomach. So these are the symptoms that is usually seen. So that is, symptoms are mainly abdominal pain, abdominal swelling, that is ascites will be there, bleeding from the esophagus and stomach, fatigue, dark urine, clay colored stools, muscle and joint pain, itching will be there, fever will be there, jaundice, loss of appetite. So these are usually the symptoms that is usually seen in this hepatitis C. So diagnosis, it is mainly hepatitis C RNA assay should be done. So that is mainly hepatitis C RNA assay should be done. Liver function test is done, prothrombin level is done, and liver biopsy is also done. So that is hepatitis C RNA should be done, liver function test, liver biopsy, prothrombin level should be assessed. So these are the diagnostic tests that we do in order to check with hepatitis C virus. Okay, in order to check with hepatitis C virus. So next is management. So management is mainly to remove the virus. So that is mainly what we do. We go with this, mainly we go with certain medications. The common medication that we go, it is mainly pegylated interferon alpha. Okay, pegylated interferon alpha and ribavirin. Okay, so that is pegylated interferon alpha and ribavirin will be given. So this is antiviral therapy drugs which is usually given for the patient. So this is usually about this hepatitis, management of hepatitis C. That is mainly we go with giving them antiviral drugs, that is pegylated interferon alpha and ribavirin. So this is about this hepatitis C. This was usually caused by hepatitis C virus, and this spreads through blood. Okay, it spreads through blood. So this is about this hepatitis C. So next is hepatitis D. Hepatitis D, it is a kind of RNA virus. Okay, hepatitis D, it is usually virus. It is usually an RNA virus that harms the liver of human beings. That harms the liver of human beings. That is hepatitis D. It is caused by hepatitis D virus. This is usually a RNA virus which harms the liver of human beings. Okay, which usually harms the liver of the human beings. So that is usually about this. So causes, it might be homosexual and heterosexual sex. Okay, in case of homosexual and heterosexual sex, and then patient who is already having hepatitis B infection. Okay, if the patient is already having hepatitis B infection, in that it can be seen. And then if an infected person shares the needle, syringes and other tools, that time it can be transmitted. Then in case of direct contact with the blood of an infected person, then intravenous drugs, or being infected while pregnant. Okay, or being infected while pregnant. So during pregnancy, if she is infected, then it passes the virus to the fetus. So that is usually the causes. So causes, it can be like homosexual and heterosexual sex, blood, or in case of if the person is already having hepatitis B virus, B infection, or if the infected person shares the needle, tools or instruments, intravenous drugs, or in case of infected pregnant women. So these are usually causes of this hepatitis D. So next is clinical symptoms. Clinical symptoms is same for all the hepatitis, like fatigue, jaundice, fever, abdominal pain, dark colored urine, clay colored stools, nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite. So these are usually common symptoms, are common for all the hepatitis. That is same thing, fatigue, jaundice, fever, abdominal pain, loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting, dark colored stools, clay colored stools, dark urine, so loss of appetite, joint pains. These are the symptoms of this hepatitis D. Diagnosis, it is mainly through liver function test, where we will be checking about the liver enzymes and liver biopsy. Okay, diagnosis, it is mainly through liver biopsy and liver function test. Okay, liver biopsy and liver function test. Management, we go with giving them antiviral drugs, that is alpha interferon. Okay, we go with giving them antiviral drugs, that is alpha interferon. It should be given for 12 months. Okay, it should be given for 12 months. So that is usually there. and other than that we have to just instruct them to avoid all the things like sharing the needles on the infected, but going with like share, like we have to tell them not to share needles, tools, anything from the infected person, and avoid sexual contact. Okay, avoid sexual contact. So this is about this management of hepatitis D. So hepatitis D, it is which managed by antiviral therapy, that is alpha interferon. This will be given for 12 months. And this is about this hepatitis D. So hepatitis D, it is caused by hepatitis D virus, and it is usually RNA virus which damages the liver. See other causes under risk factors, it can be like homosexual, heterosexual, blood, sharing the same needles from the infected person, and then pregnant women, infected pregnant women, or it might be due to intravenous drugs. So that is usually about this hepatitis D thing. So next is hepatitis E. So hepatitis E virus, hepatitis E is caused by hepatitis E virus, and it was identified in the year 1990. Okay, it was identified in the year 1990, and this spreads through fecal oral route. Okay, this usually spreads through fecal oral route. So hepatitis E, it is caused by hepatitis E virus, which is usually discovered by, which is usually identified in the year 1990, and it spreads through fecal oral route. Okay, it spreads through fecal oral route, and this is mainly transmitted through contaminated food and water. Okay, it is mainly transmitted through contaminated food and water, and the incubation period is about 2 to 9 weeks. Okay, the incubation period is about 2 to 9 weeks. So it is usually about this. So hepatitis E, it is caused by hepatitis E virus. This was identified in the year 1990. Okay, it was identified in the year 1990, and the infection usually spreads through fecal oral route and is transmitted through contaminated water and food. Okay, it is transmitted through contaminated water and food, and the infection continue with the class. So it is hepatitis E. Hepatitis E, it is caused by hepatitis E virus, and it is identified in the year 1990, and this is usually spreads through fecal oral route, and it is transmitted through food and water. Okay, it is transmitted through food and water, and this incubation period is about 2 to 9 weeks. Okay, the incubation period is about 2 to 9 weeks. Okay, its incubation period is about 2 to 9 weeks. So what are the causes? Causes I have already told that it might be due to hepatitis E virus, and it might be due to like international travelers. Okay, it is the people who are at risk of developing this hepatitis is that people who are international travelers. Okay, in case of international travelers, or people who are living in those areas where hepatitis E outbreak is present, and also people who live or have sex with an infected person. So it is causes, it is mainly hepatitis E virus, and the risk factors includes or people who are at risk of developing this virus can be like people who are like international travelers, or people who are living in those areas where hepatitis E outbreak is there, or the people who live and have sex with an infected person. So it is usually about this causes and risk factors of hepatitis E. So are the symptoms? Symptoms I have told you the same thing like of the other hepatitis. So it might be like fatigue, jaundice, fever, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, dark urine, clay colored stools, and also they will be having diarrhea. So this joint pain, muscle pain. So this is usually same symptoms are that only. So it is fever, abdominal pain, loss of appetite, muscle pain, joint pain, fever, jaundice, clay colored stools, dark urine, fatigue, weak, then it might be like abdominal pain. So these are usually the symptoms that is usually associated with hepatitis E. So diagnosis, it might be blood test, so to know about the exact organism which is causing this. So it is main thing that we go with blood test and liver function test. Okay, we go with mainly blood test and liver function test. Okay, we go with mainly blood test and liver function test. What are the management? Management for this also there is no specific treatment for this hepatitis E. So this will resolve automatically. Okay, it resolves by its own. Okay, it resolves by its own. So normally we have to give supportive treatment should be given, like healthy food should be taken, and then nausea and vomiting if they are having, so we have to give certain medications for them to control this nausea and vomiting. So that is mainly we have to tell them to have healthy food, much of carbohydrate food such as bread, jam, wheat, biscuits, rice, vegetables and potatoes. So that is we have to ask them to have healthy food. So mainly to supply like high carbohydrate food such as bread, jam, wheat, biscuits, rice, vegetables and potatoes. So that is usually done. So this is usually about this, and we have to ask them like not to travel always or not to travel in that endemic areas. So this is about this hepatitis E. So hepatitis E, it is caused by hepatitis E virus, and this is usually it is usually spread through fecal oral route and transmitted through blood and contaminated water and food.